The research about my magazine was done on Pinterest, creating mood boards on the aesthetics of my magazine, which helped me understand more about what appeals to my audience, and by looking at other art and music magazines such as Rolling Stone, Mojo, Aesthetica, to see how they use technology, design, and cross-media convergence. I consider the company, its budgets and costs, and its marketing strategy as well. Like other music and art magazine, Muse and Melody is also very active on Instagram since it is the leading social media platform, and this way I can access celebrities that will promote my account and magazine, as well as my target audience, by posting stories and exclusive content. This allows cross-media convergence and the magazine to venture out and find new audiences and customers, especially since my target audience, which are young adults, use this social media platform the most. The editing and design of the magazine were done in Photoshop and Canva with inspiration from other covers as I adapted their theme colors, poses of the artists, and props into my photographs. The film camera would have been an interesting alternative to the digital as it fits the vintage aesthetic of my magazine, but my resources were limited and the film camera does not allow me to experiment and take a lot of different images since the roll is limited. I used Adobe Photoshop to edit the creases and imperfections in the background by blurring them, and I played around with the light, contrast, and saturation on the editing app on my phone. In the photos of my contents page, I edited the images in black and white on my phone, as I have the most experience using that. Canva gave me some ideas of the themes used for the magazines, but I organized my own layout for each one. Canva helped me look at other magazines' layouts and decide what font to stick to, which I had to link to my audience and the overall aesthetic of the magazine. I did not put a lot of emphasis on the text and font, only on the title, which unconventionally has a unique symbol between the two words to link them and on a deeper level. This supports the idea that art is not defined as an intricate painting but can be seen all around us, such as in music, photography, and other forms. I used a Canon digital camera that was provided by the school media department to get a clear image of the two artists. A film camera could have also been used since it gives a very vintage look to the magazine, but I decided on the digital as it is a lot easier to use and the film was not available. I wanted to experiment with different lighting, poses, and costumes, and with film there is very little room for this, as it is expensive and difficult to manage. Since there were a lot of failed attempts as well as experiments, I selected the final ones on my phone because I couldn't fill my blog with 300 pages. I used my laptop to edit and refine them on Adobe Photoshop with the help of YouTube tutorials. The lighting in the studio was done by a worm spotlight that was placed in the corner of the room to give a mysterious lighting and to create a light shadow on the face, which gives a lot of authenticity to the artist. I experimented with different colored lighting such as red and blue to add a retro mood to the image, but I eventually turned the blue ones into black and white because they did not fit with the color scheme of the magazine. This was done with different colored filters that I placed on the spotlight. I wanted to do this as choosing a white background made the images look too dull, and during my research, I was seeing a lot of colored lighting and clothes. My Weebly setup is very organized as there are different sections for each CCR, production, and final products. My pre-production page contains all of the research I did, such as mood boards, models, and questionnaires that I gave to my target audience to complete. The production page has almost all my images, how I edited them, and the drafts of the final products, with a spare page for the final ones, so they are easily accessed. Using the research page on my Weebly, I was able to include theory in my research and therefore meet the audience's specific needs such as diversion, surveillance, personal identity, and so on. I used a lot of research tools such as Google Forms to develop the questionnaires that would help me come up with the main color scheme, fonts, and contents of my magazine, as well as the model and props. My target audience voted, and after receiving over 13 responses, I started working on developing the magazine with the help of the results. The setup and arrangement of the magazine were also done with feedback from the target audience as well as my teacher, which helped me meet their needs better since it is getting direct feedback from my customers and a professional. Doing the cover, article, and contents analysis of the Rolling Stone magazine also helped me with the research as I examined the usual aspect and contents of each page of a magazine very similar to mine.